joy at that time. And these people were so touched by his family that literally Make-A-Wish was started around a kitchen table. They came together and said, okay, we got to keep doing this. No family should go through this. And if they are, what can we do to make them feel better? And so around a kitchen table, they just started planning. Okay, we know this child who has, we call it critical illness. I'll go on that in a second. But this child is sick. What can we do? Okay, who has airplane tickets? Who knows this person? Does anyone have a connection here? And it just really started grassroots like this. And then, as you know, the red tape started happening, and they had to start, forming like a nonprofit and going through like publicists and things. And so it just became, from this, what it is now, Make-A-Wish as a nonprofit. But it really it's so cool how it started off around this table. Now, fast forward in 1985, so Make-A-Wish is growing, it's catching on in the country. Back then it was for terminal children, like I mentioned, but we are so grateful we've changed our mission to critical illness because so many kids are surviving these terrible illnesses they weren't. So to qualify for a wish, it's not for terminal children. It's for critical illness like cancer and other things. I'll get that into a second. But 1985, we're up in Chicago at the Old Children's Hospital. Another little boy passes away from leukemia, and his mom, Diane McWilliams, read about Make-A-Wish in a magazine, and she really wanted to give, meaning to this terrible tragedy and her grief, and what can she do to, live forward with her son's memory, and she started Make-A-Wish Illinois. And since then, 1985, which is relatively young for a nonprofit and a business, we've granted over 15,000 wishes just for the children in the state of Illinois. And as you saw in that video, over 500,000 wishes since 1980, probably even more since that video was created for the children across the entire country. So starting from this beautiful memory of the little boy Chris Gracious to what it is today. We have 62 affiliates across the country. So we are just Make-A-Wish Illinois. We have our own CEO. We have our own board of directors. And we grant wishes only to children in the state of Illinois. So all donations and fundraising stays local, which is wonderful. We are also global, and those chapters more do assist. So there's a Make-A-Wish France, and they more take our children from the U.S. and help assist them, show them around the country. So there is a global affiliate, but it's just incredible to think where it started and where we've come today. So we're located downtown Chicago. We have 50 staff members. We have a local person in Peoria and then a person in Springfield because we're serving all of the children across the state. Like I mentioned, we're our own entity. And then there's Make-A-Wish America, which is in Arizona. Chris's uniform is actually on the wall there, so we can always remember where we came from. And they more help with like what you see on TV. So when you see like programs like at Disney World, they are like the parent company that handles that. They handle all of our celebrity relationships. So if we have a child who we had a kid who wanted to swim with Michael Phelps at a hotel. They help coordinate with his publicist, like I said, the red tape, to get Michael Phelps here. So we more work through them as our national office, but we are just Make-A-Wish Illinois. And so to qualify for a wish, we have to qualify because we have to have parameters. You have to be 2.5 up to 18 years of age because we want to make sure we're focused on that children's age. And if you're 17, unfortunately, and you're diagnosed with a critical illness, you have until you're 19 to fulfill that wish. And what happens is we get referrals from people like you, community members. My neighbor's grandson just learned, unfortunately, that they have a brain tumor or a critical illness. Are they qualified for Make-A-Wish? They come to us. We work with their medical team to get that approval. There's, HIPAA laws and things we have to make sure we go through. And once they qualify, we assign them what's called a wish granter. And 2 people volunteer. So I was talking when I volunteer, I'm a wish granter and my mom is my partner. So once you start working with Make-A-Wish, everyone drinks the Kool-Aid because it's just such an amazing organization. So my mom and I will go out to a family's home, and that's when the wish journey starts. We meet with the child and their family, and we get to know the child, and we really want to know, what are their interests? what is their heart's desire so we can really hone in on this wish. So some of you might be thinking, if you have grandchildren or children that are younger, like what would a 2.5-year-old want to do? Well, you would be surprised. Most of them are Disney. But I mean, they could be shopping sprees, backyard play sets, dogs. We have a lot of dog wishes. And so 2.5-year-olds really do know what they want and so forth. But there are so many cool wishes. And so you go out, you go through this wish journey, you come up with this concept, we take it back to the Make-A-Wish team, we make sure that we can do it, because like we've had kids who wanted someone who wanted a limo driver for a year. We can't do that. So we have to, kind of refocus their wish, or someone asks for $1 million. We can't do that either. So you'd be surprised how funny some of these wishes are, and we kind of go back and make sure we're, all on the same page, and we, work with the team, we come up with the wish, we make sure it's what the child wants, and then we make it happen. And a lot of people think Make-A-Wish, like you must get so much donated. We do. But what we don't, we pay for. And so no family gets left behind. If you are the Duggars and you have 21 immediate children that live at your house, we're going to send them all to Disney World. If so I'm just giving you an example. Like, we take care of the family, and, we pay for that and rely on donations and fundraising across the state of Illinois so we can make sure those dreams do come true. So once you have your wish approved, your medical team has to approve the wish. We want to make sure everyone's safe as possible. Then, it's just a wait till your wish happens, and then we take care of everything. So if it's a dog wish, we're going to get you that golden doodle puppy, and then we're going to get you some training with it. We're going to get you all the supplies. If it's a trip to Disney, we're going to pick you up in a limo, and you don't have to think about anything. And when I started as a young pup many years ago, I was like, oh, I'm going to make a difference. This is so great. And when I started meeting these wish families, it just wasn't, it's very much about the wish child, but I just really got a handle on that it's about the parents and the siblings, because when a child comes down with a critical illness, many of our families get divorced. It's too much on a family. At the worst time in their life, the mom's up at the hospital, she has to quit her job, medical bills are piling up, and it's just too much that any family should have to go through. And then the wish comes in. That just gives them a week of peace, a week of they don't have to think about it. And I always laugh when I go to schools to talk. I'll be like, how many kids are stressed out when they go on a trip with their mom and dad? And I'll be like, a little kid will be like, my mom and dad fight the whole time. And I'll be like, absolutely, trips are stressful. You have to think about everything. But when the wish comes in, we take care of everything. All they have to do is focus on being together. All they have to do is focus on that joy. And the siblings, it's very much about the siblings too. And we try to make everyone feel special. Everyone gets a gift when a wish granter goes in, even the siblings, because we want them, we realize that they are, on the side because of, rightfully so, because everything is focused in, on the fight of their child's life for many of these families. And so it's just so cool how Make-A-Wish comes in and takes care of everybody. And then I see that the impact that grandma and grandpa get involved. We have a lot of grandparents that end up booking a trip with their family at the same time, or they're so excited that the puppy's here, or everyone's there for the celebration of the playhouse. And so it just very much ripples into the community. And I see it more when I travel outside of the metropolitan area, how these communities rally around these families. They know everybody. They know that a wish kid in the local school, came down with leukemia, and, there's meal drives, and then they are part of the wish, and they're doing a celebration, and the school's doing something, and it's so cool how the wish takes hold. So that was Make-A-Wish before COVID. So COVID hit, and we had to put all of our travel, which is 70% of our wishes, on hold, because these are the most compromised, vulnerable people in our society, children undergoing treatment. And so when we would grant about probably 720 wishes a year, we have kids being referred at this point. Critical illness does not stop in a global pandemic. And then we have over 1,500 kids right now, just in Illinois, waiting to go on their wish. So it's, unlike everything in the world, an unprecedented time for us, because We need to get all these kids out on their wish. So what we did is we went in and said, okay, we will honor your wish. Like if you want to go to Disney, we will honor this until it's safe to do so. At this point, we don't know what's going on with vaccinations. We don't know what's going on with anything. Or let's reimagine your wish. So I had a little boy that I was a volunteer on. He had a brain tumor. He was supposed to go on his Disney cruise 2 weeks after March when the world shut down. 2 weeks. He was so close. And he said to me and to my mom, he's like, I can go to Disney another time. I want an above-ground swimming pool. And so this past summer, we got him a swimming pool, and that will stay with his family. I got text messages of them like swimming in the pool. I was working, but they were swimming in the pool while I was working, and we got him noodles and a Captain America float, and this will stay with his family, something that he can enjoy, I don't know, 5 months out of the Illinois season, right? Whenever it's warm. But it was really cool to see this, 8-year-old boy kind of pivot and do something that his family can enjoy for years to come. So we've had so many of those wishes. You're going to laugh when I say this. You're probably not surprised. We have had an unprecedented amount of camper wishes. Camper wishes. So we have so many kids that have wished for a camper to go out and explore the world safely, and it makes sense because, they'll be able to travel and be with their family and be safe together in that. And so right now we have all these wishes on hold. We're granting wishes, but now it's a weird time, as you all know, for everybody. Right now the policy is that you have to be fully vaccinated as a family if you want to start doing air travel and go back to places like Disney, and that's just because we can't have anything happening to our kids. And this is a day-by-day rule. Things are getting better. Things are opening up. It's going to change probably next week. But that's currently what we have. And if a family doesn't want to get vaccinated right now, that they can either drive by car, or they can wait till they're comfortable, or we can keep their wish going until they're ready until we're able to get them out. So it's a weird time. And I was feeling sorry for myself, right? Like everybody, when I was home with 3 children under 4, working remotely. And I was like, oh, this stinks. We can't go anywhere. And I talked to Wish Mom, and she said, I go, how are you guys doing? Like, this is so scary for you. Nora has leukemia. She's going to Chicago for chemo. She goes, Ashley, this is our life. This has been our life. When you have an immunocompromised child, we wear masks. We don't go places in public. Before this is our norm. We're doing great, because this is what we've been doing for the past 2 years. And oh my God, did that hit home. I was like, I will never complain about this again. I will never, be sorry for myself that I can't go out, to the mall. Because think about what our Wish families are going through during this time. And then the Wish comes in, and they can start planning and thinking about it. And even if it's a year away, like Make-A-Wish is contacting them. We're talking about Disney and what it's going to look like. And it just gives them something to look forward to, going forward. And so our goal, as you all probably laugh because everything changes daily, right? By 2024, to get every wish out the door that, qualifies and is ready to go. And I'm so excited that we're granting so many wishes right now. I was in the office yesterday, and I laughed, and I don't mean any offense to this instrument, but we've never had this type of wish. We had a little boy who just got an accordion. I was like, that's amazing, right? So we're going to get him lessons, and we got him the instrument, and we're going to get him some stuff to put it away and equipment. I was like, how cool is that? People look at Make-A-Wish, and they're like, oh, that kid met the Cubs, right? Or that kid went to Disney World, but there's so many other wishes that are so meaningful to these children. Things we take for granted. We had a room redo for a 16-year-old girl because she just wanted her own space. She was tired after treatment. And so I was like, oh my God, you take that for granted, right? That you don't even have your own space because you have to share a bedroom. So we got her a new bed and had a desk so she could do some remote learning and stuff. And it's so meaningful to go in and meet these families. It humbles you. And I just think that, we're talking about Lent and Easter and renewal, and I just feel like that about Make-A-Wish, that we are so lucky to be able, no family should ever have to go through this. No family should ever have to have kids in chemo. And we have, babies, they're starting off young, and at least we can bring that hope, strength, and joy. And we're not trying to cure anything, but mental health is such an important conversation, and the wish comes in and really helps these kids and brings them that joy. And so I'm just so glad to come and share. So you can tell I'm passionate. I'm a mom. I've met so many wonderful families. As you can tell, I could talk all day about Make-A-Wish. And I'd love to keep talking, but I just think it's so much more impactful to hear from an actual wish parent about a wish. And we have Pastor Snart that's going to share his experience with Make-A-Wish. So I'm going to give it to you, sir.
Okay, I didn't think this was going to be hard, but I guess it is. Thank you very much, because what she said really resonated with what our family went through. But anyway, we have some slides, but I want to take a step back and start from a time when Ben was at Vacation Bible School. He was about 5 or 6 years old, and it was about the end of the day, and the kids were playing duck, duck, goose, waiting for mom and dad to come and pick up the kids. And Ben got tapped on the head, and, by the time, and Lori and I he was our only child at the time. We hadn't seen him interacting with other children. So he got tapped on the head, and by the time he got up and started running, the other kid was already sitting down, and someone, not in a mean way, said, well, you're supposed to run, not walk. And, that kind of made Lori and I realize that maybe something was wrong. We went to the doctor, and the doctor looked at him walk and said, well, yeah, maybe, we should go see a neurologist. Went to the neurologist, and they gave us the news that Ben had Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And at the time, Duchenne muscular dystrophy had a life expectancy maybe of about 15 or maybe 20. And so that was where we were at. We were devastated. One day, everything was going along smoothly. We didn't really suspect anything, but maybe that he was just a little awkward. And the next day, we kind of had all of the hope for his future just erased, because now he had Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. As you know, it turned out good because of treatment and because of the fact that Duchenne and Becker's are the same thing. It's just a matter of degree. And it turns out Ben didn't have Duchenne, he had Becker's. But here he is, 30 years old, working at John Deere. So it's a happy story, as you all know. But at the time, it was devastating. We didn't know what to do. And, about 6 or 8 months after he was diagnosed, we kind of got referred to Make-A-Wish, and the counselor came to the house, and she brought a piece of paper, that was kind of like from a newsprint, and put a quadrant of 4 areas and said to Ben, he was 6 years old at the time, now color 4 different wishes that you think you might want. He picked a Disney trip. He wanted to go fishing and catch a shark. He wanted to meet Brett Favre. And he wanted to go camping in a camper van, and in his mind, that was an RV. A 6-year-old mind, camper van was an RV. And, so the counselor talked to us parents for a while, and we had a couple days to decide which of those 4 was the best way to go, and he picked Disney. And so what you said about the idea of looking forward to the trip, changing the channel, kind of giving us a chance to look for some joy in a time that was really difficult. Make-A-Wish did that because we had like 6 months to figure out what we were going to do and how we were going to do it, and it kind of helped you change the channel from what's the rest of Ben's life going to be like, and you kind of got the chance to have some joy and to kind of realize you can move forward with the things as they are. So that's kind of how it, and just as a side note, as fate would have it, Ben got all of those wishes eventually. He did meet Brett Favre, he did catch a shark, and he did go camping in a camper van. But let's start with the pictures of his trip. We got some pictures from his Make-A-Wish trip. Press the down arrow. Yes? No? No? Well,
You can imagine how great they are.
let's see. This is important. We got a minute. Let's just see if we can get this working.
So while we're getting that work, I'll just step in. Thank you. I'll just step back. Before I came, I just wanted an idea in your community how many kids this past year that are qualified or we've granted wishes, and you have seven kids in 1 year in your county that have qualified or have gotten a wish. This past year I did April through April of a year, and I was looking through some of the stories because I wanted to share some joyful things. And did anyone hear of the little girl? And please forgive me, is it Colina or Colina? Kelowna, thank you, Kelowna. Excuse my ignorance. Kelowna. Her name was Genesis. Did anyone see that news story? So this past July, Genesis was 8 years old. She was diagnosed with leukemia when she was 3, and she reimagined her wish, and she got a treehouse wish this past July. And so her mom said that she's so excited she'll be able to go up there and read a book. I mean, God, read a book and get away from her family and just have some me time. And I just thought that was such a unique, like I mentioned before, people think Make-A-Wish, oh, you're meeting the Red Sox or you're going to Disney. And there's just so many cool personal wishes that we're doing for these kids. So I thought that was really cool to share locally. That I was just sharing there was some local wishes this past year.
Oh, yeah.
In my halftime show, now I'm back.
I'm sorry about that. I think we got it. Turn it to the first one, make sure, right? Press the arrow down. Okay. So they came and picked us up in a limo. That's Ben in front of the limo at our house. We went to Moline Airport, and go ahead. And Ben, the airport was just about as exciting as Disney was because it was his first time flying. He was watching planes come in and out. Go ahead. And so this is at Give Kids the World. It's a place that Make-A-Wish has. So when you go to a Disney trip at Florida, they have a place called Give Kids the World, and it's your VIP. Probably about 20 families stay there, and they have programs and meals, and everything is provided. This is the car that Make-A-Wish rented for us. Go ahead. This is a picture of where we stayed from the lagoon. Go ahead. This is the inside of the apartment that we had. Go ahead, there's a couple of pictures. That's where Ben stayed. That's as neat as it ever was, by the way. And yeah, and this is where we stayed. Go ahead.
Here's a quick question. I think about Give Kids.
Is this affiliated with Disney?
No, it's Make-A-Wish, right?
So it's a place that only children with critical illnesses can stay. And just really quick, the person who started it, it's its own nonprofit, was an Auschwitz survivor. And he worked at a hotel, and they turned a sick family away. So he started his own place, and it is incredible.
It is. It's amazing. But Ben was a little bit nervous about the Disney characters at first. This was at Give Kids the World. They had characters for Ben to meet every time there was an evening meal. Go ahead. And then there was there's a fountain area where you could go cool off because a lot of times it was warm during the day. Go ahead. And that's the end of a dock. There's a little pirate ship down there. It might be different now.
We still have it.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. And of course, he got to meet Mickey, and he had an autograph book that he carried with him, and he got 50 Disney character autographs, and I had that with me. It's sitting at home. I meant to bring it here and put it on the table so you can see all the autographs. Go ahead. And it got Minnie, and then we got our picture taken. This is at Give Kids the World. And they had evening programs that were awesome, and they really treated you like a VIP. Go ahead. I think this is Sleeping Beauty's Princess. I'm not sure, but yeah. Go, and that's, again, at Give Kids the World. This is before we even got to Disney World. Now, when we made our Make-A-Wish with our counselor, in the conversation, there was a Disney trip that was going to be 4 days, I think, and I don't remember if they invited us to see where else we might want to go, but I think, if I remember, Lori and I said, well, let's just put the plane tickets a few days further apart so we can go to another couple places. We were intending, I believe, to pay for those, but Make-A-Wish wouldn't have any of that. So we ended up going to Disney, Magic Kingdom, MGM, and Epcot, plus SeaWorld and Gatorland, which was Ben's top choice. So. Okay, so this is SeaWorld, just a couple pictures of SeaWorld. Go ahead. He got to feed a dolphin, and go ahead. Manatees, go ahead. That's the real manatees. I don't know if this is a sea lion or something. Go ahead. And then we got to see 2 or 3 shows. I think Shamu is in the next one. We had a really grand day at SeaWorld. The next thing we did was Magic Kingdom. You can't see it maybe, but that's the gate of Magic Kingdom. Go ahead. Then the castle. And this, I think, was in Tomorrowland, and he got to, I think, drive a car around. I think I had to drive with him, but we drove a car around, and that was a highlight of the day. I think he asked for the keys the next day. This is a cruise that went around the Magic Kingdom Lagoon. Of course, he went Peter Pan, Mr. Toad Wild Ride, all the rides, but they went on this cruise. Go ahead. And he had a Make-A-Wish shirt on. I believe that's it. And when you have that shirt on at Disney World, they pay attention to you. You get to go to the front of all the lines. And in this case, the driver or the captain of the boat helped him to go fishing. And you can see he caught a fish, but like it's in the hands of the driver there. It's like it's about that big. Okay, go ahead. Ben and I trying to pull the sword out. We didn't get it done. Go ahead. Now this is, I think, the Little Mermaid's princess, and Ben would not go up to get her autograph, but he wanted her autograph, so guess who got to go up and ask for the princess's autograph? Go ahead. This is at the Hall of Fame where you can go and get Mickeys, and go ahead. And Baloo, and Tigger, and Eeyore, and Winnie the Pooh, and there was others there. Like I said, he got 50 autographs in his book. Go ahead. And then we went to Epcot, and we went all the way around all the places and had some neat meals. And we didn't have to pay for souvenirs. We didn't have to pay for dinners or anything. There was money given to us ahead of time to account for all of those. And I believe they said if you spend that, to a certain extent, they would even provide more when you got back. So we didn't pay for anything. Go ahead. This is Epcot. I don't know what the name of the bay is, but go ahead. And that's Lori and Ben. See, now, look how young Lori and I look. That was like 24 years ago. That's what you all did to me. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Then we went to MGM. This is in the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Ben and I were sitting on the auntie, I think. And then he met Woody and Buzz. Go ahead. Then we were off to Gatorland, and Ben had looked forward to Gatorland all week long, and so go ahead. This is him tied up with a gator or something. Go ahead. And he would not hold the alligator, so I had to help him hold the alligator. And you notice which end he put me on and which end he put himself on. Go ahead. This is a big snake that he wanted to get his picture taken with. And then we flew back home. So like I said before, gave you a really good reason to turn the page from the bad news of Duchenne muscular dystrophy and what his prognosis was, to the place where you had something to look forward to. So it did as much for Lori and I as it did for Ben, but it really kind of set the tone for how we went forward. So it meant a lot to us. I think that's about all I had to say. So I guess if you're done, we'll open it up to questions then.
I just have to say 2 things really quick. I was talking about, I'm an energy person, so I feed off of people's energy. And I could feel that joy. I mean, you said 24 years ago, which, was not that long ago, right? Yeah. I could just feel his joy, and you remembered so much detail. It just tells you the impact, it has on a family. And then just a funny note, you said that about being put to the front of the line. We have families that come back to us and go, thank you. we can never go to Disney World again because our kids will expect this VIP treatment. We're like, oh, we're sorry. But they really do. Disney's an incredible partner of ours, and they donate so much to us. Like 60% of the Disney wishes they donate to us, and they really do a wonderful job. So I also was sharing.
You really are a VIP if you go to Disney World as a Make-A-Wish. They really do go all out. I'm sorry.
And then I was sharing while you were putting up the pictures that I looked up, and there's 7 kids right now currently that have received a wish or are getting ready for their wish just in this county the past year. Yeah. So I just thought that was such an interesting number, and I was sharing that there was a local, can you pronounce it again? Kelowna. Oh, a local wish this past summer was a treehouse wish for Genesis, and she was 8 years old, and her mom said she'll be going up there to get away from the family and read her books, and I just thought that was so cute, just to give you an idea of the different type of wishes and that it's so close and local, so it's right in your own backyard. That unfortunately, that you have children with critical illness, but like I just wanted to drive home the point. We're serving all of these wonderful children across the state, so. Like I said, can hang out the entire day with you. I'd love to open up to any questions you have, please.
One thing I wanted to say, I don't keep you. We went back to Give Kids the World 6 years later, and they welcomed us in because we told them we were a family. And when we were there the last day, they took a little wooden token, and they had Ben write his name on it, and they stuck it up on the ceiling. And they stuck it in the order so that if you told them what date you were there, when you come back, they can show you well, they looked at the quadrant where his was supposed to be, and there was nothing. There was one that was scrawled so you just couldn't read it. And then when I looked at it closer, that's Ben's. So they let him write another one out 6 years later, and they stuck it up there with his. But they were very welcoming even when we came back and to kind of take a trip down memory lane. So
thank you for sharing. I really appreciate it. I know that it's personal, and I know that these are your people. This is your flock. Did everyone know that Ben received a wish here? Was everyone aware? Okay, I just didn't know.
Maybe some of the Beulah people didn't know. But
okay. So surprise, we will wish family here. But like I said, you just did it so much more justice than I could. So thank you for sharing and opening up and sharing your journey with all of us.
So now questions.
Yeah.
Questions.
It's okay if I did such an amazing job that you know everything about Make-A-Wish. I do have one more thing. I'm sorry. This is important as well. So with the pandemic, we have, as you can imagine, lost a lot of our volunteers because it's been a terrible year for our amazing volunteers as well. Like I was saying, I'm a wish granter, and we are in high need of wish granting volunteers in this area, the Rock Island, Moline area. So if anyone is interested, I implore you to reach out to, please give them my contact information. I would talk to you directly. It's the time you make of it is your own, so it's not a huge time commitment, as you know. I mean, people come in, they form these amazing relationships, but we really are looking for volunteers to help make these wishes come true. So if you know of anybody looking to give back, please mention Make-A-Wish. If you yourself, we'd be honored to have one of you be part of our Make-A-Wish family. But we're bouncing back in every direction. We lost a lot of great volunteers because it was a lot on everybody. So I just wanted to share that as well. Was there any other questions? Yes, sir.
I guess I didn't realize before today that I always thought Make-A-Wish Foundation was Make-A-Wish Foundation, that there's Make-A-Wish Illinois, Make-A-Wish America.
Yeah.
Are there other states that have Make-A-Wish? How closely do you work together with Make-A-Wish America and other foundations?
Yeah, that's a great question. So every state basically has their own chapters, except for, I'm just giving you an example, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana have one office because just the way that is situated, but most state has their own separate affiliate. And we work with the Make-A-Wish office just with like requests for celebrities, campaign, branding, that type of stuff. But we, like I said, we have our own CEO, COO, board of directors across the state. So we are very separate monetarily and our wish children, and we don't cross lines. So, if there's a wish child in Iowa, Make-A-Wish Iowa is going to be responsible for them. We do have, if a child's being treated in another state, but we work, of course, with different chapters. But I just think it's so cool, and I'm glad you brought that up, is people think Make-A-Wish is such a huge brand. Like, people know what it is, but they don't realize how local we are. So, like I said, every dollar goes to local children in Illinois. Every child is local in Illinois, and I think that's really cool. It makes it so small and grassroots, like how it originally started, and I don't think a lot of people realize that piece because the brand name is just so powerful, We're actually voted the second most beloved charity. The first one is St. Jude's. Wonderful organization. A lot of our wish kids do go to St. Jude, so I will take it. I will take number 2 for that. But there was a survey. I don't remember who did it, but we just were voted the second most beloved charity out there. Not that other ones aren't great, but any other? Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did.
Great.
I guess just to follow on, so
Yeah.
we were looking to help, like the 7 children in our county, we want to make sure to look for Make-A-Wish Illinois for.
Yes, if you wanted to donate to us, you would designate to Make-A-Wish Illinois. That's right. Yep. Great question.
Did the donations kind of slow down during the COVID, or did they continue to come in?
That's such a great question.
Repeat it, because we're on tape.
Oh,
Repeat it.
yes. So the question was, did the donation slow down during the pandemic? And the answer is no, because that's such a great question. We stayed afloat. We did not have any layoffs. And the reason for, I believe, is I don't think it hit people who donate. I don't know if it hit. I don't think everyone was hit. We were very scared and nervous to ask people for donations when everything shut down. We wanted to be really sensitive to people's situations. And we actually had backlash from our donors. They were like, ask us. Like, we want you to give us the choice to say, not at this time, it's not a good time. But we actually had people be like, let us make that choice as a donor, because we are able to give you something. We are able to do this. We had a gala planned in 2020. Steve Martin was our host in May of 2020, and we had to cancel it. And we had $1 million in corporate donations. I want to say 95% of those corporations told us to keep it. Because they believe in our mission, and they also have that charitable giving is separate, so it's already designated, right, for charitable giving. But it was just so incredible to see that. Let me back up. We did not see us slow down, but like in my area, it did. I do community events and fundraising, so people weren't hosting golf outings the first year. That took a plummet. So we did take a hit donation-wise, not individually-wise, though. But like I was saying, like I also manage our walk manager. We have a statewide walk. There's one in Moline, just an FYI. And we couldn't have a walk, so we had to do a virtual walk. So of course revenue was down because you couldn't be in person. So yes, it did, but individually it did not. Yeah, thank you that's a great question. I know, so it was so funny. I was like, I'm community, right? I go and speak, I share my passion. And so when the world shut down, it was a lot of Zoom and passion sharing over the phone. So that's why I'm so glad to be back with you today. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Oh, amazing. That's right, yeah. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up too. I mean, people, that's what I was saying, they don't realize if there's a child who is medically complicated, we pay for nursing and all of their equipment and so forth. Can I do one last example that goes with that? I'm sorry. Kick me out, I know. So one of my wish granting, this was the most complicated, hardest wish we've had, I think, at Make-A-Wish. So I had a little boy, Polish immigrated family, didn't speak a lot of English, very Catholic. Walked into their house, pictures of the Pope, pictures of saints all over their house, very religious. Their little boy was so medically complicated. He was in a hospital bed, feeding tube, oxygen, partial brain damage. When he came out, he lost oxygen. And he was 2.5, and at that point, could he have made the decision to go see the Pope? But this family was just so religious, and it meant so much to them that we at our board of directors approved their wish for him to go be blessed by the Pope. And when I say that, I'm saying like that, it wasn't Frank's wish at that point. He was so medically complicated, he couldn't wish that. But so it was really for his family. And so he was so medically complicated, he needed special oxygen and tubes on the plane, and we had to get special extensions. And then there was an issue where it didn't work on the plane, and he had to stop in Turkey. And he had to go to a hospital in Turkey, and he had 2 nurses. And so we were working with like the contracted nurses to take care of him. And his feeding tube came out, and we had to get someone in Italy to drive to a medical supply store. By God, we got him to the Pope. And this Pope, Pope Francis, usually popes bless kids in clusters. There's so many sick kids flocking to these masses, and he blesses them in culture. And he went up and kissed my Frank on the head and blessed him. And his parents have a picture in their house of the mom holding him and Pope Francis kissing him on the head. And that one, that sticks with me. And that, I don't always share it because I always am careful in my cultural settings. But in a church, I feel like I can talk about it. But that was for his family, and that was a really hard wish. And we had nurses and medical care, and I just wanted to give you an example of what we do for wishes. And it was very expensive, and that is something that will live with his family forever. That experience. So just so touching. And I bet you didn't know we got people to the Pope, but we do. So besides Disney and all those other wonderful wishes, there's no right or wrong wishes. They're all so incredible and personal to the family, but that was very personal to him. So thanks you for letting me share that. Sorry to end on that kind of brought it down, but that's just the power of Make-A-Wish is making wishes come true. So thank you.
Any other questions?
Happy Easter to all of you. Thank you. And you know where to find me if you need anything.
All right.
All set to go?
Thank you very much.
I did bring a little token of affection for all of you. It's a star pin. So you can always remind yourself of this wonderful morning we had together. Is it all right if I pass it out?
Why don't you do it afterwards? Okay. Yep. All right.
Thank you.
Let's bow our heads in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your wonderful blessing of love and care. We thank you for the opportunity to hear about Make-A-Wish today. We ask, Lord, that you direct our path, that we might be generous givers, and that we might be in prayer for all the good work that all of our ministries do, specifically today, Make-A-Wish. Direct our path that we might see the wonderful blessing of your love at work in the world through all of the ministries that we share. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. We're going to join and sing hymn number 190. It's not 90, it's 190, Washed in the Blood. Stand, please. Have you been to Jesus for the cleansing power? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Are you fully trusting in his grace this hour? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Are you washed in the blood, in the soul-cleansing blood of the Lamb? Are your garments spotless? Are they white as snow? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Are you walking daily by the Savior's side? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Do you rest each moment in the crucified? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Are you washed in the blood, in the soul-cleansing blood of the Lamb? Are your garments spotless? Are they white as snow? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? When the bridegroom cometh, will your robes be white? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Will your soul be ready for the mansions bright? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Are you washed in the blood, in the soul-cleansing blood of the Lamb? Are your garments spotless? Are they white as snow? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Lay aside the garments that are stained with sin and be washed in the blood of the Lamb. There's a fountain flowing for the soul unclean. Oh, be washed in the blood of the Lamb. Are you washed in the blood, in the soul-cleansing blood of the Lamb? Are your garments spotless? Are they white as snow? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Again, I want to thank you, Ashley, for coming and talking to us about Make-A-Wish. She will be back in the back to give you the things that she brought for you and perhaps answer any more questions you might have. So let's close our time with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, open our hearts to the blessing of your love as we seek direction in the ministry you have chosen us to do and the love that you have chosen for us to share. We thank you for that blessing on this day and forevermore. Amen.